Yeah. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah. So it's that time of week again. It's our usual Friday night live. It's back to give you a catch up of what's going on with me and a catch up of what's going on with you. And we'll also answer any questions that you've got. And yeah, that way. So I'm feeling a bit weird today. My son's been ill. The eldest one, he's had a stomach ache for the last few days, and suddenly today I feel a little bit shivery and a bit of a stomach ache as well. But we'll see. Let's see what happens. Because I was hoping for a good solid gardening this weekend. This weekend, because I've got no markets, I've got nothing else on, so I was hoping to get a good bit cleared. So, Alan, how are you doing, mate? Rob, how are you doing? Let's see who else comes in. Rachel, hope all's good with you. Hope you're keeping well. Carano, hope you're keeping well. You're in the pub on holiday. Where are you on holiday? Where have you gone on holiday? So I was hoping that I'd get do you remember the arch that I was building in my last video? So I was working on that again today. We've had to move some of the posts from where I put them in initially, because my length, the lengths of wood that I had were a little bit too short, so I had to put some joints in them and make them a little bit longer. But it's going to look pretty good, I think. And then last week when I was about to finish, I ran out of paint. So my wife went to go to Selco today. She got there at 6:30, and the shop closed at 6 o'clock. So we couldn't get any more paint to get that arch finished off. But hopefully tomorrow I want to get that arch finished off and the bean arches and get them all up, because the beans are ready to reach for the skies. So can't hear but can read chat. Okay. Can everyone else hear me all right? So Big Mac, how are you doing, mate? Thanks very much for coming in. Right, okay. So everyone else, Dandy Mom, hope you're keeping well. Glad everyone else can hear me all right, and it's just one person. Totally Jane, just lurking. I like the lurkers, but whenever you want to drop a comment, just do say hello. Just let us know that you're there. But we do like lurkers. Margaret, how are you doing? Thanks very much for coming in. Hope you're keeping well. We've got one viewer over on TikTok. I'm not sure who that is. Let's see. Okay. So Brian Carter, I love your videos. Thanks very much. I'm glad you appreciate them. Are there any topics that anyone's burning for me to cover? Because I've got a few things that are lined up. But has anyone got anything that that you really want me to cover? So blood pressure, having problems, and not. Oh, Alan, mate, has that been a while? Blood pressure, or has it come on recently? How to grow garlic. I've done quite a few videos on growing garlic, right away from planting, comparing planting on. There's this traditional saying that says grow on the shortest stay and harvest on the longest stay. Right away from comparing videos like, comparing old tales like that to the way I grow, because I normally plant at the end of September, October. So I've done comparison videos on that, the way I grow garlic, right the way to harvesting garlic. So I've got Brian. If you just have a look at my videos from last year, you'll see quite a few garlic planting videos. I'm meant to do one. I want to do some more videos that cover the whole topic in one video. You know, like this is how you plant garlic, this is how you care for garlic, this is what you feed garlic, this is what how you harvest garlic, like I did with my coriander video. But the only thing is, some of the editing skills aren't there, and finding the videos, and it takes a lot of time. And sometimes it's just a little bit hard to justify in terms of the views that we get compared to the time that it takes. How do you grow turmeric and ginger? I've done some videos on that as well. Let's see. Let's grab some videos that you might have seen before. So Ibex, walaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Lovely garden videos. I'm glad you like them. Yeah, I hope they're helping. Geek Maku 40, walaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Hope you're keeping well. Hope everything's good with you. Where's my channel? So let's see. I was just going to grab you a couple of videos. Yeah, good to see all the plants for a year's growing. I've got loads of time. Muslim gardener, walaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. How are you doing? I hope you're keeping well. Sarah, I hope you're keeping well. Thanks very much for joining us. My garlic bad with rust and onions and leeks. See, we've not been, our garlic's not done the best this year. You know, the lack of rain just really set us backwards. You know, just that not having enough rain that just didn't give us the, didn't give the garlic the bulbing up time that it needed. So Ibex is asking, how did the election go? It went all right. I mean, I came second again. But I increased my vote share by 50%. So I'll give it one more try next year and see what happens with that. I wanted to ask, what is the best way to grow tomatoes? If you go onto my YouTube channel, there's some good tomato growing videos. I mean, I normally start my seeds for tomatoes in February. And then I just keep potting them up, planting them deeper every time. And then once they're ready to plant out, just plant them so just the top 6 inches is sticking out of the soil. And then once they've established themselves in the ground, just keep trimming them back. If you're growing determinate varieties, then you don't need to push them out. If you're growing indeterminate, single stem varieties, then take off any suckers and just let them grow. I grow a lot of my tomatoes outside, not just inside. As long as your soil's good, you don't need to go in adding eggs to this planting hole. You don't need to go in and in dead fish to the planting hole. You don't need any of that. As long as your soil's good and fed well, most things will grow pretty well. So where else are we going? So my garlic was, I read that one. We're behind in general as I've had really bad sciatica. So, oh man, I know how sciatica is. Sciatica is just one of those problems. I suffer from sciatica. It really does hurt. It does really cause a lot of problems. So how much wood have you got stored now, and how much will it last? So I've got a good amount of wood. So I've got 1, 2, 3 pallet loads that are split and ready, stacked, ready for this winter. I've got another half a pallet load that's split that I need to stack. And I've got quite a few logs that still need splitting. So yeah, I'll do a video. I meant to do a video on it. So there's someone there that needs blocking. Salika wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Thanks for blocking that guy. Just yeah. What's Jazakallah? He came in at the perfect time actually. Ryan's Garden Diaries. How are you doing? Good afternoon. So I have to go now. Just wanted to say, play a short visit. No problem. You take care, Hamza. My first Poultry arrived today, fully red. Oh, that's amazing. That's fantastic. You beat me. Yeah, I'm way behind compared to that. I've still got plants that are this big, and I don't think I'll be getting harvest until uh, sort of late September. But yeah, you've done absolutely fantastic. Um, I just got some chickens. How often should you clean them, and do you have any other tips? So, if you've got chickens, how have you got them set up? So inside the coop, I normally clean once a week, and I normally when I bed them down, I bed them down on about 2 or 3 inches of wood shavings. So things that I've saved off when I'm cutting wood with my chainsaw. So that sort of wood sawdust, I put a good couple of inches of that down, and then if it's I might do a pooper scoop during the week. So just go in and just take out any big bits, any nasty bits, take that out, and then put some more hay or more sawdust on. And once that's done, once at the end of the week, I'll give it a good, uh, good deep clean everything out. But in terms of the run outside, I don't clean that. I'll do something called chicken composting, where I stack all my sort of plant material, wood chips, a good foot and a half of that, leave that, and let it break down in there. And then once that's broken down, I'll take that off and use it as compost. So Ted Mando do Tablighi Jamaat. I used to in my younger days. I just don't have the time anymore because most of my time is taken with teaching. So I very rare, yeah, I really struggle with the time. So let's see who else is coming up. Bobby, how are you doing, mate? Thanks very much for coming in. So, if you're thinking that I'm talking to random people on different things, I am. I've got two streams going on, one on TikTok and one on YouTube. So, there's a good few people in on the YouTube chat. So, if you're not recognizing them over on TikTok, they're the people that I'm speaking to. I'm not just speaking randomly like a madman to myself. Have you, Robbie, you asking if I picked my? Oh no, he's talking to the Poultry look here. Okay. Your lamb curry is going to be awesome. Totally, Jane. How are you doing? I've been really stressed due to being quite behind at the allotment, but I've come to terms with it now. And look, sometimes when things happen in the garden, yeah, we can get worked up about it, but things are going to happen. Life is going to take over. Look, my garden is way behind compared to where it was last year. Normally June, my garden's full of green everywhere. I've got two beds that are half empty because in sort of May I didn't get my sowings in. I didn't get my summer sowings of a lot of brassicas in. A lot of things just died because it was too hot and I wasn't watering it enough. My time was being taken elsewhere. Now I'm building structures that I should have built 2 or 3 months ago. So yeah, um, things are going to happen and life's going to take its toll and life's going to sort of push its priorities on you, and you can't avoid that. That's what's going to take priority, yourself, your family, and just normal living. And when you get the time to go and heal in the garden, you go and do that, but take it as it comes, just let it flow. Did I ever used to live in London? I've never lived in London. It's too far south for me. Yeah, always Yorkshire born and bred. Um, what's happened there? I'm not sure what happened there. So my TikTok live just disappeared. So I'm not sure what happened there, but my TikTok live just disappeared. Hopefully I'm back. Yeah. Let's see. So I lost a lot of seedlings when I had to go away for a couple of weeks at short notice. But is it too late to plant seeds directly into the veg beds? Not at all. I mean, there's lots of things that'll still grow. Still be planting loads of salads. Still be planting beetroot. Still be planting really fast cropping things. Spinach, chard. Still be planting carrots. That'll go into late winter harvest. So autumn kings are a really good variety for late harvest. There's loads of things that you can still plant. At the start of August, plant some more peas, and you'll get winter harvests of peas. Yeah. So the soil here in Wales is very fertile. I've been flowing your potatoes in buckets. See, Brian, I've been looking at Wales a lot this last week. What part of Wales? The thing is, the only thing about Wales, right? There's a lot of cities, big cities that you recognise on the south coast and on the sort of north part near Snowdonia and that. But right in the middle is like loads of bits that I've never even heard of before. And when I'm thinking of that, it's like, okay, there's loads of small holdings that are coming up in the middle of Wales, and I'm thinking, oh, I don't even know where that is, and where's the nearest city? Because I want to be close enough to a city where I'm not feeling too. I'm a city boy at the end of the day. I want the country life, but I don't want to be too far from the city. Um, so do I think that children should be taught gardening at GCSE level? I think children should adults, I think we all need more accessibility to land. We all need more accessibility to learn how to grow food, and that's one of the big reasons that we started our channel. I mean, we never had a garden when we were growing up. We lived in a terraced house back to back. Yeah, and then when we eventually moved into a terraced house, we had a small back garden on the other side. Well, about 4 foot of concrete, and on the other side it was straight onto the road. So even in that space, we grew vegetables in our backyard. But I was lucky enough to learn a lot from my mum. Now, I understand that a lot of people don't have that sort of generational knowledge, and that's what I wanted to share on our channel. Lots of ways of growing, and I wanted to share ways of growing for free, or for as cheap as possible. Yeah, but in terms of growing in schools, I think yes, they should do a little bit of well, not just gardening, but a lot more life practical skills. School children should learn how to be able to change a tire on the car. How to change the oil in the car. Basic things that everyone should know how to do, how to survive. How to put wire a plug, how to wire basic little things. I think there's lots of practical skills that would have been taught 20 years ago that aren't being taught, or kids are coming out of school that just don't have a clue. I think we need a lot more of that. I nearly lost my daughter due to pneumonia and strep and sepsis, 5 weeks in hospital, and she's only walking again. Oh, Jane, I'm really, really sorry to hear that. What I hope the prognosis is good, and I hope she's got a lot of support, and I'm glad she's got you to give her some support as well. Ryan, what's your plans this weekend? My big plan is to get those arches finished off. I was hoping to get them done last week, but I'll get them finished off this week. Definitely, I'll get them finished off this week. And then there's lots of things to be planting out. Whoever's struggling with a garden, here's one for me. My potatoes and wood chips have never let me down over the last 15 years. I've never failed with potatoes and wood chips. This year, for some reason, I planted half my bed with sort of under the shop bought under the counter spuds that had sprouted, and half the bed with specific seed potato, and the ones that I planted on the ground in the from the shop bought normal eating potatoes, you've got them up to sort of waist high, really big plants. the specific seed potato have just about popped their heads out of the ground, and they were planted on the same day. So I'm really disappointed with that. So GTI gone. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Hope you're keeping well. Mama, are you okay? Yasin's there. So real life skills are absolutely really important. Yes, buddy.
My stomach hurts.
Have you had some alcohol? When did you have alcohol?
Earlier today.
Okay, go and check with your mum. I think you might need some more alcohol with that now.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah, absolutely. If you haven't hit that like, hit those like buttons for me. I'd really appreciate it. Okay, I've got you. I've got you. Don't worry. So they've said minimum of a year, and the infection has destroyed the cartilage. Oh man. Just lie down that way, and then I'll be able to get you properly. I'll give you enough support. Wow. So we're getting random people inviting me to go live on TikTok, but no, sorry. How are you doing? Thanks very much for coming in. Let's grow home. Hope you're keeping well, Robert. Back in the 70s, we had to do home economics, woodworking. Really, yeah, absolutely, Robert. We still had that in the 80s and 90s. So yeah, I completely get. Yeah. I mean, my eldest brother, he did a course he was doing metal work in school. Or he did an O level in metal work, and he knows how to do welding. And when you look at him and when you hear about what he's doing, he's a computer geek, but he knows how to do welding. And I've never welded anything in my life. So it's things like that. You know, people know these things, and especially now there's that lack of generational knowledge where parents are teaching kids or how to fix things up or how to grow things or how to make things. I think there needs to be some kind of provision that's going to help support that gap. I look at my neighbor, right? My neighbor Richard, he's a ex-army vet, and that guy, he's like a jack of all trades. You know, he can fix a car. He can he can. He's teaching his grandson how to fix cars in his garden. He's building things in his garden. That, you know, they're putting things up all the time. You know, he fitted his own log burner. He's just a really hands-on, practical type of dude that can do a lot of things. And when you see that kind of thing, where you just have you know, it's something that's really important. And that's one of the things that people were really had a go at me when I was doing the roof of my house. But I was like, no, I'm gonna just have a go, because we had professional builders and stuff out that came out to give us quotes, and when they were giving us quotes, they were charging us for double the materials and stuff like that. So I thought, nah, I'm not going to fall victim to these guys and be upset with the quality of the work at the end of it. I'll do it myself. I'm quite handy, and so I thought I'd watch a few videos, and that's what I did. I watched a few videos on YouTube and just did it. Just had a go. And you know, we put a full roof on the house, and when people think about that, I think it's something amazing. But apart from climbing up the scaffolding, which was the scariest part, the rest of it was quite simple, and it'll be quite simple for a lot of people. So, Anamuddin wa alaikum assalamu alaikum. I want to grow tomatoes. Any tips, videos you can direct me to that you made previously? So I've got lots of videos on tomatoes. I've got a couple of. Have you got them already started? Because it's quite late to start them if you haven't already got them started. So if you haven't got mature tomato plants, you're gonna have to go and buy some, or get them from someone else. But when you plant them really deep. Depending on whether you're growing them in a pot or whether you're growing them outside. I've got most of my tomatoes are planted, the fruiting, the flowering, because I like to plant my tomatoes quite early on in about February time. And that way, by the end of this month, we should be able to start having ripe tomatoes. But I have got some good videos on planting tomatoes if you want to have a look at them. losing crafts, losing recipes. Absolutely, yeah, we're losing so many things. Schools, unis create robots. Not, it's they're creating people that can be programmed to work, as you know, work in a modern thing, in a modern society, work for other people rather than teaching people how to be, brave enough to go out and work for themselves, or how to be self-sufficient in any way. The, the most dangerous thing is a population that's self-sufficient, healthy, that can think for themselves, and I think we need that, and that's one of that's sort of the things that reason that I stood for the election last year, or this year, was because we've got the same systems. We need some grassroots activism, but put into practice and represent the community. Carano, you take care, and hopefully I'll see you again next week, and I hope you keep well over the next week or so. So let's grow home. I'm in Scotland. Growing plot. I had to fix my bike lately down to the spark plugs. I fixed it, but broke something else. But I don't know. I'm learning. See, that's amazing. Having a goal like that, that's really inspiring. I changed my headlight. The bulb in my headlight, and I was really proud of myself. I was like, look, no one showed me how to do this. I watched a few videos, figured out how to take the headlamp off, and change the bulb. And it's like, yes, I would have before that I would have gone to a garage and got that fixed. But if you can do those little things, this is where you save your money. This is where you learn how to help each other as well. We There was one of my neighbors, like the felt blew off a roof of a shed, so I went up and put the felt up for her. She's an old woman, so I just put the felt up for her. Do you know what I mean? It's like neighbors doing things for neighbors. So it's been gorgeous all week with the occasional sporadic showers. This week's we've had a bit more rain, so it's been interesting. Did you hear or read about the Muslim Keith Lemaire? What about him? I don't know who they are. Hey, my dude, I was wondering, have you tried grape, muscat, or something similar? I've got grapes. I've got a couple of grapevines in my garden. One's quite old, but I'm not an expert on growing grapes. I'm not someone who would offer advice on it. It's something that I'm still learning. We bought a variety from Lidl last winter, and it's supposed to be an Eastern European variety that's hardy outside. It is a seeded grape, but it's a dessert grape, and I planted that to climb up my grey arch, in the middle of my garden. So hopefully the way I'll learn from that, and I'll be able to share some more knowledge with that. But I'm not fantastic with grapes, so I can't offer a great amount of advice. So yeah, I know where my limits are on that one. I am a little bit limited. Sorry. It's worth planting my seed potatoes and onions now. I'm far behind. See, Nabila, I wouldn't plant onion seeds now. It's way too late for onion seeds. I'd wait for September and then plant some overwintering onions and think about those for next year. Potatoes, yes, if you've got some, especially early potatoes, plant them. If you've got large buckets, use them. You'll have potatoes probably in October, November, when everyone else has finished harvesting theirs. So you'll have some late crops, but you'll still be able to get some crops. Just protect them from any frost that you have late on in the season. I love your mentality. You're a dude. I want to build the arch you built on my allotment. I agree with you so much. Yeah, I mean, absolutely, Mike. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Gareth. Let's see. It's later in the year. Buy a couple of starter plants to catch up really quickly. Okay. I re-roofed my shed 2 years ago. It was fine, first time trying, but good research. People can do so much. Absolutely. Do you know that's the thing? Do you know it's really amazing at the stuff that people can do. You just need that confidence. Sometimes people need a little bit of hand holding and a little bit of encouragement, but we can do lots. You know, we can achieve lots, and if we can through channels like this, if we can share a bit of knowledge and encourage each other, that'll be amazing. Um, I'm listen to me get some tayberry. So there's a few plants that I need to get. I just need to work out where I'm planting stuff. There's some pawpaw fruit that I'm looking for. If I can find a nice pawpaw tree, then I'm going to be buying some pawpaw. Angela Grodon, I've grown extra of. I've grown most of my own veg this season. Awesome. This is what I love hearing. Yeah, I love it. Um, So, other plant exchange sites that would this be something that could be set up if only to encourage people to grow new to your live streams, Robert? So we do some seed exchanges on our Facebook group. So people who don't know about our Facebook group, if you just type in My Family Garden into Facebook, we've got a nice little. It's not a massive group; it's a small group, but it's a nice cozy group. So we do regular sweet seed swaps in there, and we could even do some plant swaps. Um, the only sometimes what you get is what I'm seeing more recently is, you know, a lot of hipsters are starting to get into this kind of thing, and once they get in, they sort of hijack it and take it away from being grassroots, and it's outsiders coming into communities and telling you what to do or what you need to do. Um, Anyone know the difference between topsoil versus so soil? Okay, so soil. Uh, I'll give you a very briefly. Okay, you've got three types of soil. You've got loam, sorry, silt. You've got clay, and you've got sand. So sand is the biggest particle of soil. It is really poor at holding on to nutrients, but it drains really well. Silt is the next, and it's the sand is the biggest particle size as well. Silt is in the middle. It's really good. It's good at holding on to nutrients. It's good at holding on to it's good at holding on to nutrients. It's good at draining well, but it needs some sand. Otherwise, it can become boggy and can become quite acidic. And then you've got clay, which most of us have. Clay is the smallest particle of soil. So if you've ever had soil stick to your boot when you've been out in the garden and it's been muddy, or if you get a lot of thick mud, that's normally clay soil. But clay is fantastic at holding on to amazing, you know, minerals. Can you guys behave, please? It's fantastic at holding on to nutrients, but it doesn't drain well at all. It doesn't drain well at all. Oh, buddy. So it doesn't drain well at all. So that's one of the problems. So the ideal soil combination is what every gardener is looking for is a good blend of all three. So if you can have a sort of 30% 30% clay, 40% silt, and 20%, 30% sand, you'll have a really nice loam.
Baba, can you go down?
Yeah, I will. And that loam mix is exactly what people are looking for. When you've got that loam mix, that's the sort of achievement that you want. Compost is a soil additive.
Baba, go down.
Yeah, just 1 second. Hold on. Just let me answer this question. Compost is a soil additive. It's the way people like me think about it is compost is a fertilizer. It's something whether it's an organic fertilizer or not. It's still classed as a fertilizer. I class it as a fertilizer. It's a way of improving. It's a way of improving soil. It's a way of helping plants get off to a good start. So whenever you grow stuff, you ideally want a mix of soil and compost.
Nobody see me today.
They're seeing you now. But I could go.
Baba, can you go
these
down?
kind of subjects I can keep going on over and over and
Papa, go
over.
down.
I mean, people
Go
like
down.
Charles Dowding won't call.
Papa, go
Yeah, I will.
down.
Just hold on a second.
Can you put your
So
finger
people like Charles
right
Dowding
there?
won't call compost a fertilizer. They they treat it very different to the way I treat it.
Go down.
And I don't think compost is a good mulch either. There's lots of reasons that I don't think it's a good mulch.
I want to go all the way
It's
to the bottom.
expensive to be used as a mulch if you're not making tons and tons of it of your own. I mean, I make enough compost of my own, but I still wouldn't use it as a mulch.
Papa, I still want to go to the bottom.
Yeah, let me answer some questions before we go to the bottom. So, hang on, one second. What am I planting at the moment? So I'm going to be we just planted loads of lettuce, dwarf French beans, filling gaps with things like that. We're still planting beetroots and salads, just filling any gap that we can with any seed, seeds. I'll do a video at the end of the month or next week that shows you exactly what I recommend planting.
Nobody's seen me today.
So I scarified my top.
Why is nobody talking to me?
Compost all rotted down without minerals, etc. If topsoil, the rocks have rotted down into a mix of both is good. Absolutely, a mix of both is fantastic. I scarified my lawn, seeded and used compost rather than topsoil. Getting the grass growing in patches, not the result I hope for. Given the time, compost is good. Is good for that. But the thing is, Shana,
it's going back up, Papa.
That's because you scrolled up.
Papa,
Yeah.
I haven't been in this video for ages.
You're in the video, and I can see you're whinging. He's alright, leave him. Yeah, he's alright, leave him. Yeah, I mean, see, when it comes to grass, I don't bother scarifying it.
I have to go with my mum.
I will sometimes throw compost on there and just allow it to grow through.
I had the fears. I'm not
one of those that looks for a perfectly manicured lawn. We've got kids in our house. I want them to be able to play on the grass. I want them to be able to, kick a football about on it. So we get loads of grass on there. We get loads of clover growing in there. I don't mind the weeds growing through.
I want a new cake
because weeds have a purpose. So if there are patches, I'll throw a little bit of patches, a little bit of seed down and a little bit of compost. Just try and fix that. But other than that, yeah, we just leave it and it grows fine. As long as there's something green that people can use as a lawn and it's functional, then it's good for me. And that diversity encourages you to be able to use that grass, somewhere else as a compost additive, as a mulch, as something else. But if you're trying to grow a perfect lawn, then you might end up using, a lawn feeds and the weed and feed kind of mixes that weed the grass and feed the soil, feed the grass at the same time. So and that, if you take those grass clippings somewhere else, you can end up poisoning the rest of your garden.
Papa, if I have a pencil like yours, can I keep one of them?
I'll give you one if you behave. Go downstairs, listen to your mum. If you listen to your mum tonight, I'll give you one.
Aww. Where is it?
They're upstairs in the attic.
What?
So Angela, where I do my classes. Angela, you missed my recipes. We'll do one soon. Let me just get we'll do one soon, I promise you. I'm just thinking one to do. Anything in particular that you want to see? I tried making a small solar powered pond and it's delightful. Aurora, that sounds awesome. Is that a little fountain that you've got on there? Kato family, how are you doing? Thanks very much for coming in. Hope you're keeping well. We seem to have lost everyone on TikTok. I don't know if I'm still live on there or not, but my phone's about to die, so if everyone's gone, then let's end that one. Okay, so that's gone. So Nabila, should we be adding more topsoil in pots under our straw on top of our compost to retain moisture in pots? Is it going to be hot and dry this summer? So if you're adding, one of the things that I'd always recommend is whenever you mix, you make your mixes for your plots, then always adding topsoil into there. So most of my potting mixes are sort of a layer of wood chip at the top bottom, then a load of unbroken down organic matter, and then my compost mix. And my compost mix is probably 60% compost that's quite, depending on if I'm planting a big plant or a tiny seedling, it's 60% fine compost, fully finished, and then about 30% unbroken down compost, and then the rest. So yeah, then about 20-30% topsoil. I don't even mind if it's subsoil, so as long as it's got some soil in it, whether it's topsoil or subsoil, just add it in. I don't know if my maths have been right there, but yeah, if you get the sort of idea I get. So soil made itself, or compost had some input. I've noticed in my area most soils are peat free. See, peat free is good from the environmental perspective because peat bogs hold down a lot of carbon, and when it's dug up, then it releases a lot of carbon, and then once we use it, and then we're taking away habitat, we're adding carbon to the atmosphere. So there is a problem from that perspective. Peat is a fantastic material. It's an amazing material to grow in, but do we need it? I don't think we need it. Are the peat-free composts that are on sale anywhere near good enough to be sold? Nowhere near good enough to be sold. It's nowhere near good enough for something for the public to be able to use. I think compost manufacturers are a little bit greedy. They're selling an inferior product for a superior price. I think they're capitalizing on the fact that they can get some really cheap, nasty stuff, stick it in a bag, sell it to us, and call it compost. And I think they're taking advantage, to be honest with you, because most of the peat-free composts just aren't good enough. You can make some really good compost at home. You can make some really, really useful compost at home. So I'm just catching up to everyone saying nice pictures. Zaki, would have liked seeing that, but I've sent him off. I'm trying to share my tip for brassicas. I've been no dig for 3 years. Putting newspaper down on my granddad's allotment mulch and around brassicas with nettles. I think you put a comment on the video, on one of my videos, about that. We need more artist impressions of the garden arches. Brother, you really marked that. I marked the little one. Mark the little one, eh? Okay. You okay? Icky, your watermelon's doing really well. I'm glad it's doing well. How's everything else going in the garden? See, I love your watermelon updates. I want to see when you get a couple of nice big watermelons at the end of the season. I made really rough compost out of Christmas tree bark and grass, which has made a great fluffy mulch. See, grass is amazing. Grass is an amazing resource. If you've got hedges, something like privet. Privet is a fantastic resource. If you just take privet, lay it down on your lawn, run it over with your lawnmower, you get a good mix of grass and privet. Just with that mulch on its own, I've made garden beds and I've grown in that. Not even bothered to compost it, put it down straight, and then plant it into the soil underneath. That's one of the best gardens I ever made like that. But yeah, it's absolutely fantastic stuff. Black aphids have smothered my beans. It's been aphid. I can spray garlic juice on them. Yes, you can spray garlic juice on them. A bit of neem oil or some washing up liquid will also work. Blast them with jets. Any severely infested leaves, just pick them off and remove them. So do a combination of everything. I wanted to move some tarpaulin last week, as I forgot when it was covering. I found manure I put under there. Oh, so that manure is going to be absolutely amazing. It's going to be nice and broken down and perfect for this year. My garlic leaves were decimated by aphids this year. Chopped leaves off for a couple of weeks. See, I think aphids, everyone I'm speaking to, aphids have caused a problem. My chili plants have been put back so far back this year because of aphids. See, I use chicken poop fertilizer alone. Awesome. Yeah, brilliant. When the chickens decide to behave, we let them out. We've got this one bed just in front of my glass greenhouse, and as soon as they come out, we had that planted with onions, with dwarf French beans. We had it planted up really nice. Everything was coming up really well. Let the chickens out. First thing they did was they used that bed because it was so dry. They used that bed as a dust bath. So they came in, scratched everything up, killed everything in that bed, and we're just trying to recover from that. But every time they get out, it's first thing they go for is that bed, and they just make a complete wreck of it. So Rob, you take care, and I'll see you again soon. I'm aiming for mason on raised beds, but still quite a lot of digging to do in places. See, if you are going down the no dig route, doing that dig at the start really pays dividends. My garden was covered in couch grass, really badly infested in couch grass. I spent a lot of time, digging through the soil, going through everything, taking out as much couch grass roots as I could. And then I went no dig after that. And I went no dig with the sort of wood chips and deep, not just wood chips, but deep mulch, any sort of mulch that I can get hold of. Deep organic mulch, at least 6 inches, sometimes even a foot of deep mulch onto the beds. And that's the method I went with, rather than just putting down compost. Compost is okay, but at the end of the year, you've got nothing left. You've got soil that's just you've got bare soil. My garden used to eat organic matter like that. I did a video on why I don't like compost as a mulch. It was quite controversial at the time. But if you do fancy having a look at something, just do go and have a look at that. Yeah, dig the roots first, then no dig. Look at filling raised beds more affordable. Put logs in bottom. I was saying your son just the little one. So one of our new neighbours, right? They've met my son, but they've never met me. And I was out in the street the other day, and she called my wife over and goes, "Oh, that looks like your, that man looks like Zaki. He looks like a spitting image of Zaki." And my wife goes, "Yeah, that's because he's his dad." So Mimi Susu, how are you doing? You've got great vegetable garden this year. Also a sunflowers grew 10 feet high. See, that's amazing. Sunflowers have grown. Our sunflowers are way behind. We've struggled a lot because of the lack of rain. It's just really, we really struggle with that. How do you look after your chickens when you're away? You're gonna need. So there's things that you can do around food. So you can make a nice feeder that's going to feed them for up to a week. But you're going to need someone who's going to go in and feed them. You can put down lots of deep bedding, so the bed, the coop itself doesn't have to be changed as often. But the thing that you're going to need is someone to go in every day, every other day, and give them fresh water. Even if you've got a good water, in this temperature, they're going to go out of water really fast. So you're going to need someone who will be able to go in and give them fresh water, unless you've got some sort of drip system where I can imagine a system, the way a toilet flush works, where as soon as it drops below a certain level, it automatically tops up, or something like that. You can build a system like that. It's a bit more technical. I just find someone to come in and give them a bit of food and a bit of water, because that's all they really need. As long as the water is there and the food's there, sticking loads of deep bedding down, that should make sure that they're all right. So I'm going to use cardboard, grass, etc. in layers with soil and manure ready for next year. They just need to be knee high. I can manage that. I have some raised beds and normal beds already. So put on some. If you're going to go that high, so put on some borders. Some edging, whether you make it out of wood or something a bit more durable. As long as you've got something to hold it in place, stick a good amount of stuff on there. So stick a few layers of cardboard on there. If you're waiting for it for next year, stick a few layers of cardboard on there, stick a load of veg scraps in there, then stick a load of kitchen scraps. Tip, if I was going for something that's knee high, so that's about probably 1.5 foot, maybe 2 foot. So you've got nice thick borders on there. I'd put loads of cardboard to smother the grass, and then I'd put loads of kitchen scraps in there, absolutely loads. And I'd mix that with sort of wood chip. Either go for wood chip first and then the kitchen scraps, or the other way around, and then sandwich the wood chips in the middle, more kitchen scraps, and then put a layer of unbroken down compost, so really poor quality compost, organic matter that's sort of breaking down, that's not all the way there. Put a good layer of that down, so maybe 3 or 4 inches of that, and then finish off with your final sort of potting soil. Tony, how are you doing? Hope it's all good with you. I'm glad you made it in. How are you doing, man? How are you doing? Just got home from work. I'm now on leave. How long you got on holiday? Tony, what part of Wales are you in? So our 2 hens hatched 3 baby chickens. Oh, fantastic. Oh, it must have been brilliant. And the kids must have loved watching that. Richard saying, talk about nettles. So go on, Richard, tell me about your nettles. So, Richard, you're talking about putting nettles around brassicas. Are you talking about putting them as a mulch, or how do you want to put them on? So it's been a crazy 6 weeks with wildfires. I'm 21 days leave now. I'm from a place called Nelson, South Wales, around 15 minutes from Cardiff. Okay. Do you know, where's Carmarthen and Landelio, not Landelio? Is that anywhere near you? I'm making my list for autumn now. Yeah, it's a good plan it's good to plan now for for next year and for the winter season. I don't know what's happened with we've really sort of struggled with the lack of rain. Has really set our garden back this year. I think a lot of people struggle with that. So they're right on time, because my uncle's dog killed 6 or 7. Oh, no way. See, we hatched we've got 3 chicks left. We managed to hatch 7, I think. So the way our incubator was set up is really sad. I mean, it's a bit of a death trap without one piece that was in it. and we set it up without the grill at the bottom. So every time that a chick would hatch, as soon as it started moving about, it fell into the water at the bottom of the incubator and drowned. So we had 2 chicks do that, and literally they did that so quickly. One chick just had, it was walking about, it started moving. I was like, okay, right, it started walking, I'm gonna come and get this one. So I went into the kitchen, had a glass of water, came back, and I just found it dead in the bottom of the incubator. Really sad to see. The other thing is, so we had 4 chicks that managed to make it, and one was quite weak, one was quite struggling, and today again, sadly I found the really weak one, dead in the brooder this morning. So I've got 3 little chicks that are safe, healthy, and they're doing it. And we've got some more eggs in the incubator, and we're gonna have another go and see if we can get some chicks through. So they're right on the okay. So Llanelli and Carmarthen are mid Wales, further north than Cardiff. Llanelli and Carmarthen are about an hour past me. I'm 10 minutes off junction 32 of M4. You'll have to pass it to get to both those places. See, I found a few fixer-uppers around Llanelli and Carmarthen. That sort of places. Not Llanelli, Llandelio. Is that Llanelli? I come from North Wales to get there. So basically, I don't like being stung by slugs and snails. Stretch so much everywhere. Do you accept my challenge? I don't understand it. Tell me how to do it, and let's see if I get it right, and then we'll have a go. So tell me how to do it, and then let's see if I can get it, because I haven't got loads of brassicas in the ground, but I'll certainly have a go if you tell me what explain it to me properly again, but explain it to me like you're explaining to a 5-year-old, and then let's see if I can figure it out. So takes flaming fire, Landelio. So I don't have an incubator at the moment, but looking to some to hatch my own meat birds. See, I had a really good broody that I'd much prefer to any incubator, but I think she was about 8 or 9 years old when she died. Absolutely amazing broody. So protective over the eggs, so protective over the chicks. If you wanted to get anywhere near the eggs or the chicks, you'd have to sort of go in with a broom and push her away before you could get any access to them. But she was amazing, really, really good broody hen. But sadly, a couple of years ago, we lost her. So West Wales is where all the land is where Liz and Hugh are, and where I'll eventually end up. So West Wales, name me some cities in West Wales then. Pronounce Landilo. Landilo, like that. Or Landilo. Yeah, broody hens don't play. Yeah, they don't. But this one, I mean, she was absolutely amazing. She was a little bantam, and she had more fight in her than I've ever seen any hen have. Absolutely amazing. I've got one that keeps getting broody at the moment, but apart from grunt a little bit, apart from getting a little bit grumpy when you move her off the eggs, she doesn't do anything else. She sort of growl at you. But that little broody, that little bantam that I had, she was vicious when she was broody. Llanelli, Carmarthen, Pembrokeshire, Ceredigion, Ceredigion. Towns are there any proper cities in Wales? So off the subject, I was rooting for Arsenal to win the Premier League this year. See, I'm not a big footballing man anymore. Yeah. K Digion. K Dig Eon. Cardigan. Now you're messing about. That doesn't say cardigan. um, so Llanelli, Carmarthen, Pembrokeshire. Okay. See, Pembrokeshire's near the coast, isn't it? Because that'd be quite nice. You know, if you had a bit of land, but you were close enough to the coast. See, I keep looking on, places in Wales not being far from each other, and then realizing that a lot of them are country roads rather than big fat motorways. So the sort of time frame that I think about traveling from one end to the other in my head, it's not going to be anywhere near that because of all the little roads. So key diggy on, key diggy on, key diggy on. I'm getting there, man. I'm learning. We'll need to take the dog for a wee before bed night. So Jane, nice of you to come in, and I hope everything's. I hope your family situation does get better, and whatever support that we can give, we happily give. Yeah, I really do hope your daughter gets better, and soon. And keep your head up, keep your chin up. So like surround vulnerable plants a good way around like you would strawberries, all around the bottom up to the leaves and more. Oh, okay, so let me see if I can get a hold of some nettles, and I'll chop it up, and I'll give that a go. See, nearest supermarket in most of these places at least half an hour. Oh. Oh, see, the nearest supermarket for us is a 5-minute walk, and you know, if you run out of milk at 3 o'clock in the morning for your Cocoa Pops, yeah, I'm a 3 o'clock in the morning Cocoa Pops man. So yeah, you can just go and get milk at 3 o'clock in the morning. That's the sort of thing that I'd struggle with. See, key digion. Key digion. There we go. Need to plan better. See, I'm sure I'm saying it right, and you guys are saying it wrong. Oh, there we go. That'll upset a few people. But what time is it where you're at? It's 3:05 Eastern in Oklahoma. Is that in the afternoon or in the morning? Because it's just gone past 9 o'clock. It's 9:10 at the minute. So Richard, I'm gonna try your nettle method, and on my insulting loads of people, I'm gonna call it a night here. Right. Hope no one's got upset by that. If they did, I'm sorry. But yeah, I'm gonna call it a night here. Thanks everyone for coming in and joining us for another great chat. Good to catch up with everyone. And I'll see you again next week. There we go.